It's a good day to be alive.
We're back.
Yeah,
We're back.
Woo,
Episode 13. I'm going to screw that up a bunch of times. Episode 13.
Oh, we're 13. I put 12 down because I haven't released 12 yet.
That's. I was thinking about this right before. Episode lucky number 13. Today's a great day. Cameron's in a great mood.
That's right. It's been a good day. Been a good week. Everything went my way. You know how it goes, guys. You've had weeks like that. You're just killing it. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we episode number 13. Hopefully you guys have seen 12 at this point. But who knows? Try to do some double episode week, but we'll see. Yeah. It's been a good day. How about your day? How have you been?
Can't complain. Things are going well. Living the dream, Cameron.
What can I say? Nothing's going wrong. Everything's perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Good day for episode 13.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Good day for lucky number 13. Yeah.
All right. I think we're good. Actually.
There you go. I forgot to do that.
Yeah. That's got shiz all over my thing.
Oh, man. That's too bad, dude.
Shucks.
So
that's too bad.
Dude, so how's the weather been out there in Denver ever since you got back?
Dude, the weather's been good. It's been warm a little bit. It's been a little warm, which is kind of sick because that means I can go to the pool and stuff. Now it's like summer's here and stuff, so it's been like low-key not bad. What about you and RVA? You hit the river yet this summer?
Pretty tight.
Spring?
I mean, I plan on it, but yeah, I like to go when the weather really warms up though, and the water gets like bath water.
Yeah, you can hang out in an outdoor bath.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't. Yeah. So I don't really need a real bathtub when I have the river that warms up. It gets really hot. By the way, in the summertime, I don't know about our audience, but let us know what you like to do in the summertime when it gets hot out. I like to kayak, and
let us know where you're listening from. What you like to do in the summer.
Oh, Hunter's in the lobby.
He's in the thing. Hang on a second.
No, I won't let him right away. Let's. We don't have to preface it much, but actually, yeah, a little bit here. This will be good. So, for all our longtime listeners, at least since I believe it might have been episode number 6. So there's a listener of ours, one of our fans, Hunter Long. We've talked about multiple times on this show, and we are excited and very pleased to announce tonight that Hunter Long will be coming on to the Town Crier podcast to discuss everything satellite engineer, everything satellite engineering, everything space related somewhat. So I had some really cool conversation with him over this last weekend on Sunday. And anyway, so yeah, I was like, man, just get on the pod. So we got him here for you guys. So listen closely. He's a very educated man, so but also I think he has the ability to also explain things in layman terms, similar to Kip Thorne. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let him in. What's up, Hunter?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Yo.
How are you doing? Welcome to the pod.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Never before have I been on a podcast before. It's a big day.
Yeah, it is a big day. I mean, we hadn't been on a podcast until we made this podcast, so
Yeah,
we have
it's
that
a
in
lot
common.
of firsts. Like, I got those shout-outs. That was the first shout-out I'd gotten from a podcast, and now I'm on a podcast, so I just feel like it's a lot of firsts.
Your life is going fast, man. It's moving quick.
It's moving on.
Things are on the up and up for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
this is Josh Showalter. Oh, go ahead. You do
I was
yourself.
going to say, nice to meet you. I've heard about you, obviously, through our podcast conversations, but nice to actually talk with you. You've probably talked to Cameron about this.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, I met Cameron, like, for the first time, like, last weekend, and it's funny because like when you listen to a podcast, you kind of feel like you know the host, but
Yeah.
they don't know you.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like
So,
I know you so well.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Go ahead, Josh.
yeah. No, I'm gonna change. I was gonna transition to other topics, but yeah,
I'm just gonna say I've had the same experience like on the other side as well. So this is kind of like the first time I've experienced it from the other side. So
Yeah.
I think it's new for everybody here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
for sure.
yeah, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. So you probably have talked to Cameron about this, but how did you actually find our podcast?
So, it is a interesting story, pretty short story, but so as y'all know, J.M. Francis, I think that's what you call him. He is dating my wife's sister. So
Okay.
G-Dog.
That's right.
my wife's
That's
sister.
right.
And they were at the house once, and I forget how we got on the subject, but he was like, it was either him or G-Dog was like, my brother, has a podcast. And I was like, what? Like, that's so cool. And so then I like looked it up the next day, and I work from home. So I really like having, podcasts on in the background while I'm working. Just kind of like to have some, background noise and stuff. And so I've been, sometimes I'll turn y'all on and listen for a while, work for a while. So
Cool.
Yeah, it's a way to do
the
it.
story.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So all we hear about you is you're working out of your shop when you listen to us. Is that still the case?
Yeah. So I think there was, a little bit gets lost in communication.
Right.
Like I work from home, so my shop is my like home office. That's where I'm in right now. Like I work from home, and I have a little detached building that I work in. I used to work in the house,
Nice.
and then I was like, I need some more quiet, some more space, so I moved out. So now I'm out here, and yeah, it's just me and whatever podcast I turn on, working.
Heck
so.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you look like you're in some kind of lab or something. What
Yeah,
do you
I've
guys
tried
making
to
in
like.
there?
I miss being like. I've always worked at places that had really cool labs, and I kind of miss that. So I've tried to like recreate. Like I've got like my little like electronics bench set up. I've got like the stuff that it's like I use it a little bit for my job, but it's also a little bit just for my own like fun kind of. So
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely want to get into some of some of that today. So whatever's going on in that lab, we want to hear a little bit about that.
okay, yeah. Yeah.
But first of all, just let's make it simple for our audience. What do you do?
Yeah, so I am an electrical engineer, and right now I work for a company called Hawkeye 360. It's kind of a weird name, but we're a company that's in Northern Virginia, and there's like about 150 people, and they were a startup like, I don't know, 8 years ago, and they had this idea to launch satellites that could receive radio signals. And the cool thing was like they wanted to be able to find where the radio signals were coming from. And so they launched the satellites in a cluster of 3 satellites. I have kind of like I'll pull these little here's some little 3D printed models of our satellites. So we have they travel in a cluster of 3 of them, and since you've got 3 of them, you can like triangulate where on Earth the radio signal's coming from. And we're like the first commercial company to do that. Like, it's possible the government, they probably already do this, like different governments, they've got really fancy satellites. But we're like the first commercial company to do it. And so the idea is like we'll sell this data to different customers. The government is a big customer, but there's also like other customers we're trying to sell to. So like if a ship, in the ocean, like someone gets on the radio and starts talking, we can see where in a certain like area that signal came from, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you're
fascinating.
you're also able to, anytime anyone on the face of the earth makes a phone call, you can triangulate exactly where they are too. So
yes, and
any
we
of our
can-
listeners,
not only that,
you
we
can
can
track
control their thoughts as well. Like that is something we don't advertise that, but like we pretty much like control, world leaders, whatever's going
Wow.
on. We can like 5G. Have you heard of 5G?
Yeah.
We
Caused
control
COVID.
that, and that controls everything
That's
else.
right.
Yeah,
Dang.
we're actually not allowed to listen to phone calls, and I don't believe we could, even if we wanted to, but we're not allowed to. So
Well, that's what you tell people, at least.
yeah,
You're
that's
tr-
the story.
It's
at
on,
least.
it's on the website that way. You know?
Yeah. We don't track anybody. We don't listen to
Yeah.
phone calls. We definitely don't do that. I swear we don't do that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah, and it's
cool.
interesting. Like, apparently, different countries have different laws. So there are some companies, like in England, that do similar things to us, and they like can listen to like phone calls, or they can do like more. Maybe not listen to phone calls, but they like have less restrictive laws. So it's interesting. Like, the country that your company's based out of can affect what you're allowed to do as a satellite company. So we have to follow the U.S. laws.
When you say that there's 3 satellites that travel together, how closely are they together?
Yeah, so I think they are, I believe it's about 100 kilometers apart. And so, like, I printed out these little scale models. The satellite's about the size of a microwave oven. It's like about that big.
Okay.
So this is like a
Oh, wow.
1/10 scale model. And in my mind, like, in all the marketing pictures, they show them like together, like this, like they're traveling. But even at this scale, a 1/10 scale, that still would be 10 kilometers between this one and the next one. So they're very
wow.
spread out. But
Okay.
satellites go really fast. So even at this scale, the real satellites go like, I think they go like 7.5 kilometers a second. So even at this scale, this thing would be moving 750 meters a second. So like in a second, this
Yeah.
thing would go like 7 or 8 football fields. So it's like booking it. Like, so
Okay.
even though they're that far apart, they're
It's-
only like a
it's-
couple seconds apart, like because they're
Okay.
booking it.
Interesting.
Wow.
This is going to be an incredibly dumb question,
Oh, I already asked a bunch
No,
of
no,
those
that's
to him
fine.
on Sunday. So
yeah, there's no dumb questions.
which is good because I'm sure some of our listeners probably relate with this. So, orbiting the Earth right now are like some absurd number of satellites.
Yeah,
There's,
it's
I
like
think there's a website that tracks.
12,000, 20,000 something. Yeah, it's a ton.
So, what prevents them from colliding with each other if they're all in orbit?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a
a
good
stupid question,
So,
dude.
that's a big worry. I mean, like, that is a big problem. And like, not only are there satellites orbiting, there are pieces of satellites orbiting. Like, sometimes satellites have crashed into each other, and when they do, I mean, they're going like 10 times faster than a rifle bullet, and so it like totally wrecks them. Like there's nothing left, and
Yeah.
just little pieces everywhere, like bolts and nuts and stuff. So, like there's a ton of space junk, and the different countries try to track it all. You can't track everything. Like there's some pieces that are too small, but they have radars that track them. And so we'll get an email, saying, "Hey, it looks like one of your satellites is coming really close to this other satellite. Like either you need to move or they need to move." And so we actually have little thrusters on them. We can, like, the thruster pushes like it's such a weak little push, but it's enough to like
Right.
nudge it that it'll miss. Because like we'll get a warning and it'll say, "Hey, your satellite's going to go within 100 meters of this other satellite," and you're like, these two things are like going so fast, like, and they'll come
Yeah.
that close to each other and just miss each other.
So when
Pretty
you're
regular.
steering these, I mean, maybe not literally steering them, but like giving them
Yeah.
a command maybe to like turn the thrusters on to this percent or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
guessing like every little minuscule move that you make with that is like makes a massive difference because of I guess the way it moves, it would exponentially like a little. I guess it'd
Yeah.
be like a ship in the water. If you're off by just a tiny bit, you're going to go way off when you get further
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, like the thrusters, we always talk about it like how strong they are. It's like a mouse fart. That's what one person on my team says. Like it's really like a weak little push, but it's enough that it like kicks it out of the way.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Fascinating.
So we have people that just like we'll get emails all the time. Every day we get emails, and some of them you ignore if it's like the probability of them hitting is really low. You can just ignore it. But if it's high enough, we'll actually move our satellites. So
Gotcha.
out of the way.
So what I just thought of, and I want to hear from you because this is something we talked about on Sunday, and I was like, man, I wish I had I wish I had the microphone right here. I could just took all of that, recorded everything you said. But what we talked about was specifically, I think I asked you about the event horizon in a black hole, and why is it? So what it says in the book by Kip Thorne, The Science of Interstellar, which I have not read in a few weeks now, I need to get back into it. But it did say, he said that that microwaves, and I think he was just saying microwaves for that sake of example, whatever, but they can't go outside of the event horizon. They can't go back out, just like any object. But why is it that radio waves cannot get out of a black hole?
Yeah. So, I was reading about black holes a little bit in preparation for this. I'm not a black hole expert by any means, but like I am interested in that kind of stuff. But like, so radio waves they're an electromagnetic wave, just like light, just like gamma rays, X rays. They're all electromagnetic waves, and they all go at the speed of light. It's all the same speed, and so it's like apparently black holes, like, it doesn't matter what kind of radio wave or electromagnetic wave it is. It would have to be going faster than the speed of light to get out of it, and nothing can go faster than the speed of light. So like there's no hope of anything getting out of it, really.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I was reading about how some black holes, like if you fall into them, it's kind of like the movies, like smaller black holes that are a couple times the mass of the sun. Like as you get closer, it pulls on your feet more, and so like it would stretch you out like spaghetti, and you would die, and it'd be bad. But apparently, like the biggest black holes, like the super massive ones that are like a billion times bigger than the sun, it's like the tidal forces are a lot less, and it said they're like the same as standing on the Earth. So like you could like fall into it, and you would not be like pulled apart like that. And like the bigger the black hole, the less it stretches your feet from your head, kind of thing. Which I thought was interesting.
The bigger the black hole?
Yeah, because like something about like the event horizon is proportional, like how big it is proportional to the mass of the black hole. But like volume or it's like
weight?
the density of the black hole gets
Or
smaller
density, yeah.
as it gets bigger. So they were saying like really big, supermassive black holes, their density is less than like water, which is crazy. So it would like float on water if it could float, which it doesn't.
That's right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They're weird.
I guess that kind of aligns with Interstellar, and obviously it aligns with Kip Thorne's science into that, where the possibility of going into a black hole and entering like the Tesseract is actually a legitimate concept.
Yeah,
Because
like
in
when
that
I
case,
read that,
it's
it
like-
actually
Yeah.
seemed like it was more possible. I thought like when I saw Interstellar, I was like, that doesn't seem.
Yeah.
It probably isn't possible. Like, you probably still would die some way, but it seems more possible than I thought it was. So
Yeah.
Hey,
Scientifically, it seems like it should be a thing.
Yeah. Black holes are so weird. Like I don't know. I don't claim. I'm not a physicist, and like I don't understand. How they've been space time and stuff. But like they're crazy. Like it's hard to believe that they're real. Like they seem like something made up.
Yeah. Exactly. And I remember when I asked you on Sunday, I don't know if you've read anything else since, but do you know any update on that black hole that's currently like showed up in our galaxy?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about. You mentioned that, and I did not.
It's all good.
I did not read up on that, so I
All
have
good.
Yeah.
not heard of this.
I have it pulled up. I can just recap.
Actually, yeah, do that. You want to share
Yeah.
your screen? 'Cause I'd be
sure.
interested to hear what Hunter has
Sure.
to say about it too. If you can share your screen, then do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Otherwise,
Let me see.
send it.
All right, you see this?
Yep. Oh, let's
Cool.
show. There we go.
All right, so this is just the post description here, but
Whoa.
NASA has discovered a runaway black hole that's tearing through the universe, labeling it as, quote, an invisible monster on the loose, which is funny coming from NASA.
That is.
The supermassive black hole has caused so much destruction in its path that its trail of destroyed stars spans 200,000 light years long. To visualize the speed of this invisible monster is moving, scientists have stated it could travel from the Earth to the Moon in 14 minutes.
That's crazy. That's booking it.
Yeah. So,
Although
who
it's not
knows?
that fast
You know?
compared to light. I know light takes like 1 second to go to the moon. So it's all relative. I guess it took the astronauts like 3 days to get to the moon.
Yeah.
Take light a second. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, hopefully it's not like nearby us, headed towards us.
Yeah.
But,
I hope it is.
Yeah. We'll send
I could
Matthew
use some-
McConaughey up there and
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, apparently black holes are really hard to find because they're black. Like, they're not like a star that's bright. It's like, it's just a black.
Well-
it's literally a black hole.
So
You know, it makes
that
sense.
is exactly why on a previous episode, I don't know if you saw it, but I was talking about there's a disk that oftentimes comes with these black holes. I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
but
the
some kind of
accretion
disk.
disk that's like around
Yes,
it.
yes, and that is actually how you're able. That's why when we're able to see black holes, that's the reason. It's not
Yeah.
because of the black hole. It's just because of these disks that will sometimes be a part of black holes, not always, from what I heard.
That makes sense.
But it just has to do with like I guess stardust and all kinds of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, like when the stuff falls in, it gets really hot and like glows bright. So
But
I guess
there's
if you had a
also,
black
like, the
hole that
disk
was
goes
just, like,
around it,
nothing
though,
around
too.
it, nothing was falling in it. You would never know it was there because it would be like just black,
Right.
which is crazy.
Let me actually try to find that image because this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I brought it up
Apparently,
before.
so like that was saying it could go from the Earth to the moon in what was it, 14 minutes or
14 minutes.
14 minutes? Apparently, I was reading the supermassive black holes that are at the center of most galaxies. They are like the black hole is bigger than our entire solar system. So, like if it was like the center was at the sun, the black hole would extend out past Pluto. Like they're that big, which is crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
scale
this-
of the universe is a mind-blowing concept just on its
Ooh,
own.
Yeah.
that is cool.
So
That
this
is a cool
oh,
diagram.
sorry.
I like that.
So like this is the disc right here. But what's interesting is this. So like see the light. Let me use a different picture. But this is what it looks like in the movie Gargantua.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're looking down at the black hole. But what the reason though there's light coming from the top side is not because there's light up there or there's not like the disk is not at the top of the black hole. It looks like it is. So like the light, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but
Yeah,
this light
yeah.
is
It's
actually
getting
behind
bent
the black
around
hole.
it. It's like a
Yes,
lens. It's
yes.
like
It's getting bent. Yeah, exactly, which I thought was interesting. It's not just surrounding it. It's just the light is so strong that it comes you can see it from the other side, basically is what's happening, I guess.
yeah.
I
I've
don't
tried
know.
to
A little
like
I understand.
understand that in my mind, like, but it's really confusing to be like, wait, the light's
Yeah.
bending around it, and why does it look like that? Like,
Yeah, it took me a while to understand that.
but apparently, like a lot of stuff will bend light. I mean, anything bends it a little bit, but like, if there's a galaxy, even if it's not a black hole, like it'll cause the light to bend around it, and they can actually use that to like see farther back, like into the universe because like it acts
Right.
like a lens, and it kind of like amplifies the
Right.
light coming from that direction.
Yeah.
Interesting. They said something about that recent black hole about some jet that got out or something.
Yeah.
What was that? Remember, Josh? I showed you that.
Yeah.
I forget what it
Um,
was. Some kind of a
oh.
jet, like not like an actual jet like we fly in, but like
but like a
light.
shooting out of material from it and stuff.
So there was some big article on this. I didn't really read it all, but so
Yeah, I know.
can't
I know a
speak to
lot
it.
of them do. Like as the stuff falls in, it's like somehow some of it gets like shot out. And I saw a really cool picture today. I thought it was like CGI, but it was actually a picture Hubble took. And there's like a galaxy with like this jet just like shooting out of it, where stuff falls in, and then it just like shoots out this huge jet.
Yeah, it's kind of like because there's a really dense gravitational pull there. I think it's in Martian where they do this, but it can act like a slingshot, which is I'm guessing what's happening here, where you get into an orbit and it basically propels stuff out. And Martian, they use that to slingshot themselves back to Mars to get Matt Damon. But
That's
yeah,
a
they
whole
use that for
chapter.
a lot of like satellite probes. They'll use planets to like slingshot them.
oh
Yeah,
no way.
so I learned about that in the book because there's a whole chapter dedicated to slingshots. That was super interesting, like what you can do, like the potential with slingshots. It's crazy. So like if you have black holes, that's essentially like the best kind of utilization for a slingshot. Obviously, there's planets, but black holes are usually going to have the strongest gravitational pull. So I guess what you can do is you can actually. So right now we can't travel in like interstellar travel. We don't have that capability yet. That I'm at least that to the level that I guess I'm thinking of. And but what we can do, he was talking about different theories on how we could travel as far as they did in like Interstellar, the movie. And he's saying we could use slingshots. And what you could do is, you could slingshot around a black hole in our galaxy, shoot yourself off into, I guess, a new galaxy, and then use another black hole, hopefully, to slow yourself down, which is just like, you just have to hope. There's just like a lot of coincidence that has to happen in order for that to work. But it was like, he's like, that's how we could travel really far if we really wanted to. We could slingshot. Yeah. So that was interesting. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Yeah. You hope there's a suitable black hole at the end so you can stop.
Otherwise, you just keep going for eternity. You'll find yourself in heaven eventually, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Slingshot yourself to heaven. Yeah.
Ooh, I have a really good question for Hunter, but go ahead.
I read today was, do y'all know who someone that was kind of like, he didn't discover the possibility of black holes, but he was one of the early pioneers in like researching black holes. There's a lot of them, but
who is this?
It was actually Oppenheimer apparently also studied black holes before the Manhattan Project, but I did not know that.
Wow.
And I read that today.
Which is why I think, so I don't know, well, Oppenheimer gets mentioned in the movie Tenet by Christopher Nolan, which is obviously not about black holes, but he gets brought up in that, which I thought was interesting, which is because it's a Christopher Nolan movie, and then Oppenheimer was involved with, I guess, with black holes in a way there. So Interstellar's that, but then also Oppenheimer's coming out, which is all about Oppenheimer. It's interesting. Oppenheimer's kind of been seen through all his movies, which I find fascinating.
Yeah,
not all of
I
them,
did not
but just
know
like
that.
3.
Yeah,
so I don't know much about that.
Predicted, like, if you have a star that collapses, they knew like a star could collapse into like this really small neutron star, which is like a neutron star. It's like one spoonful of it weighs as much as like New York City or something crazy, or a mountain.
Yeah.
But then they were like, well, what if it got big enough? Like, is there anything to stop it from collapsing further? I think Oppenheimer was one of the guys that was like, there might not be anything to stop it from, once it gets like past the neutron star size, like it could just collapse into nothingness, which is kind of what a black hole is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I just thought of a question to ask you, and then I think I might have forgot it. Frick. Did we talk about I think, Hunter, we talked about the, I think I had to do with the black hole, but the singularity. Did you say, I forget, you might have said something about that. I'm trying to understand it as best I can. So what is singularity to you? How do you explain it?
I don't really know a ton about that. I
remembered my question.
Apparently, like, the singularity is, like, at the center, and it's kind of like where our math breaks down, because you can't have, like, a point. Nothing can be like a point, like in physics. Like, you know, even if you have something very small, it's still not infinitely small. And so I think a lot of people don't know if the singularity is kind of like a real thing, or if it's like we don't have physics models that are appropriate for black holes. Because that's been a big thing in physics, is like they were able to unify all these different theories. They started out with like, there was like the electric field and the magnetic field. Yeah. And they were able to like unify a lot of these together. And they showed, hey, all these different things are actually the same theory under them. But they haven't been able to unify like gravity and the rest of physics. And so like the theory of gravity works really well for like big distances, like astronomical distances. But the theory doesn't work for really small things, like at quantum mechanic levels, like for things smaller than an atom. And so that's like, you know, everyone talks about like the next huge breakthrough in physics is they want to figure out how to unify gravity with everything else. And so I think that like the singularity thing is something they don't really know, hey, is this like a real thing, or is it that our math just can't account for this yet?
Yeah. And I think it's to the complexity of the black holes, and that's part of why they're so fascinating, is we just don't know. Like, there are things that we physically can't measure to a certain extent, and singularity is by definition that like what is at the bottom
Yeah.
of the black hole and what happens to matter as it goes in, you know? So,
Yeah, and that's like the awesome thing about black holes is they almost let us test this new physics out just by watching it. Like if we wanted to build something that could do that, we could never build a black hole. So it's like they're out there
right.
just
Yeah.
sitting. We can like watch them and we can like see, hey, and so you can like test a lot of theories. Like if you come up with a theory, a new theory of gravity, it's like, well, does that match the observations of what we've seen black holes do? Like,
Yeah.
and you can disprove a lot of stuff that way.
So I wanted to ask you this, Hunter, and it's okay if you don't have an answer, but I guess I didn't ask you this Sunday. But are you familiar with the brain of the universe?
No, I've heard of like brains and pea brains and membrane. Like I don't know. I think it's something with string theory, but I do not know any more about it than that.
So yeah, I find it really, really fascinating. This one's crazy because the brain is actually apparently, so we live on like, I forget what the plane field that we're on is, but the plane that we live on, the way we can travel through space and whatever, that's where we live. But there's also another level below. I don't know if I'd say below. I don't know how to say it, but
Yeah.
it's like below that is another like space called the brain, which is a place that we cannot travel to. I think it's a different dimension. It might be 5 dimensions. Which this is something crazy to me because I need to learn more about this because I was like, man, there's a whole other side to the galaxy universe that we cannot even travel to because we don't fit the dimension. I was like, whoa, I never heard about this, but it made me think. I'm like, maybe that's where heaven is, you know, down there in the brain.
That is interesting. I feel like it sounds like totally made up, but it's like there must be a reason that physicists think that's true, that there are 5 dimensions. Because
I think I know what it is. So I think what happens, thinking about it like this, I could be completely wrong, so this might be a bad take, but like, you know, the classic analogy they'll show in movies like an Interstellar, how to travel, you know, to another side of the galaxy, like by over folding it and going through a wormhole. You know?
Yeah.
So like when you fold that, so like let's say this is the paper and I'm folding it over and this is where you're going to travel, that wormhole right there that you're traveling through between my hands, I think that's the brain. And then you come out the other side. Does that make sense? Like we can travel above this, we can travel below this, but we can't go anywhere inside of this unless it's through like the wormhole, which is also bending space, I think.
Yeah.
Could be a horrible take, but I'm just going to put that out there.
It sounds easy. It sounds easy to travel.
Yeah.
Like, let's just bend space and then poke a hole. Like,
Yeah.
That's easy.
I don't understand why we haven't folded the paper yet. And just gone through.
They actually they did studies though. They have seen like minuscule wormholes that have been created on Earth. So like if you study like very, very, like if you study biology, like microbiology, there's actually wormholes that will form in that whatever biome. I don't know. But I don't know if they're called wormholes necessarily, but it's like the same exact thing. It's down to like the molecular level though. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but wormholes don't really show up in our galaxy, I guess. I don't know if they have, maybe. I don't know.
People have
Hunter?
observed it, I think, where they think it's a wormhole just because obviously when you bend space-time, like it looks warped because you're essentially, I mean, that's what it is. And so they've observed like weird like anomalies that kind of appear like it's a wormhole. And again, it's one of those things that we can kind of make like a scientific estimate or guess if that's what it is. And they have like, you know, educational reasons to back that up, but we don't know for sure unless we shoot something through it, you know?
Right. Something very small.
Well,
that stuff is crazy. I feel like
Yeah.
it starts to sound like you're just making up stuff now. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Well, I feel like I would have thought that about black holes, you know, if I lived like 50, 60 years ago. I'd be like, that sounds totally made up. And then apparently, like, I did not realize this, but you know, like Hubble telescope is named after a guy named Hubble. And apparently one of the big things he discovered was that there are other galaxies. Like before that, you know, they saw stars and like they would see stuff like Andromeda and they thought, oh, that's like some kind of cloud in our galaxy. And then he proved like, no, that's another island universe. Like that's so far away that it looks like a cloud because it's a bunch of stars that are just so far away. It looks like a cloud,
Right.
which I feel like
Wow.
that's just like mind blowing. Like if you think,
Yeah.
the universe is already big, and then you're like, no, there's another galaxy like millions of light years from ours, and there's
Yeah.
like thousands and millions of those. Like it's just
Yeah.
crazy how amazing the universe is. That
Yeah.
Is
the
does-
vastness of it is really wild, and that concept applies to both space and like even like the ocean
yeah,
and just the unknown that we just don't
Yep.
know, like that we just don't know about either of those things. But it's really cool because even if you look back on like the advancements when they realized that the sun was the center of our galaxy and planets were orbiting the sun rather than planets orbiting us like at like Earth.
yeah,
And then it's like as technology and science advances, we're just going to know more and more and more about like all these things. Like all the James Webb images that were released like a couple months back are like mind blowing because those are the highest resolution photos that they've ever taken of some of like our universe. And so it's just all that stuff is just crazy. It's like we just don't know what we don't
Yeah.
know because the technology hasn't advanced to where we can see it. And then when that happens, it's like then we'll be able to explore just another step, you know?
yeah. It's very humbling. I feel like to
Yeah.
keep like you think you understand. Oh, like everything goes around the Earth, and then you're like, no, the Earth goes on the sun, and then it just keeps like you keep getting smaller
Yeah.
and smaller and smaller.
Which
Yep.
I think is why I enjoy talking about this so much because it's like we can keep talking about this because you can keep discovering more and more and more. Like the further
Yeah.
the more you
Yeah.
learn, the more you can learn. So that's why it's so cool to me because it's just that. Also, is the universe is it like constantly expanding or what? Is it constant?
That's what
I don't
that's
know.
what they think.
That's what I've
Like
heard.
that's what
So-
Hubble kind of proved is that if you look at things that are far away, the light from them is red shifted, which there's this thing when something moves away from you, it's kind of like the Doppler effect with an ambulance, how the tone changes when it goes by. Like it'll be like nee, 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 nee. As it goes by,
Yeah.
it gets lower. Well, it's like the same
Yeah.
thing with light. And so he figured like the farther something away is, the more the light gets shifted lower in frequency. It
Oh,
becomes
whoa.
more red. And that's how he proved like, well, this Andromeda galaxy is really red shifted. Like it must be really far away. And then he also like found certain stars that like he knew how bright they were and so he could figure it out, but they think that for some reason it looks when you look at something far away, the light's really red shifted, which makes them think it's really moving away from us really fast the farther out. And I have no idea why. They have
Yeah.
a lot of theories and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Biggest-
still don't understand. Like, I've always like, I feel like that's such a common question. It's like, is the universe infinite? Does it go on forever? And I feel like
Yeah.
I've like tried to like look up that a lot and stuff, and I've never gotten like a clear answer really. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
because it's expanding, but it's like, if it's infinite, what does that mean? That it's getting bigger? Like, how can something that's infinite get bigger? Anyway, it's crazy.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. How could something infinite get bigger? I would say because it's infinite, but then how could it get bigger? Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. That's
Yeah, well, they say it
circular
started
reasoning.
from like the Big Bang theory is that it started from a very small point and got
Right.
bigger, but it's like, was it always infinite? Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't understand that.
Well,
Beyond comprehension.
Our
Yeah.
biggest question of the episode is this: do aliens exist?
Ooh, well, can you not broadcast this
Yeah.
part of it? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Because I want to tell you the truth about alien. Like, working with space stuff, we have to deal with
He's
aliens.
seen them.
A lot. but we all know just you don't talk about that in public. It's not. So
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Joe Rogan's been doing a lot of it recently, so
It's true.
Elon just
Yeah.
shuts it down immediately. Though he doesn't think they're out there. So
yeah, I don't know. And all like the alien videos and stuff, it's always like I feel like aliens wouldn't be that dumb. Like if they could come all the way here, I don't know. Like I don't know. I feel like the videos and stuff you see, I'm always very skeptical of that because I'm
Yeah.
like, would it really, you know, look so like a drone or
Like
something if it was like
like we
that
see in
advanced that
movies,
they could
I guess. I don't
travel
know. Well,
across all, you know, vast distances and stuff.
yeah, well, the
Yeah.
images that I've been seeing recently, I mean, there's been more and more. I feel like that come out as of recently. They're always, I feel like they come out more, but
Yeah, it's been
they look
weird
just like
lately that
UFOs.
like the Pentagon and stuff has been like releasing stuff about
Right.
UFOs, which I don't understand. Like what?
I don't know if it's political or
Yeah,
what.
yeah. I don't know if it's like
Yeah.
they're like, hey, here's something shiny. Like look away from like I don't know. Like I don't know what
Yeah.
the deal is really. It's kind of weird. Like you would think if they really had any proof for aliens, like they would. I don't know. It'd be like a bigger deal, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
kind of weird.
Yeah, it's either that they don't perceive them as a threat, or they're saying it to either be a distraction or to just calm down the ufologists, I guess is what you call them, that are like
Ufology.
trying
I've
to
never
chase
heard
them.
that. Like,
Yeah, I think that's I think that's what they call themselves. But it could be like just either distraction or to keep them from just pushing too hard, and maybe like all the Area 51 stuff, no one knows truly if that's actual like alien research or if they were doing military testing and all this stuff. But the whole concept there is like if they say, hey, yeah, they exist and we have it under control, it relieves pressure of people trying to like butt in on what the government's doing. I don't know. There's so many theories you could take with this, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an answer either, but I don't know. Well,
yeah, some of the videos I've seen, like in my last job, I used to work a lot with infrared cameras and stuff, and so some of the videos they are like taken with infrared cameras, and a few of them definitely looked like it was like just like a lens flare or something to me that the
Right.
pilot was seeing, and like it looks like it's moving super fast because it's like the reflection of the sun or something, and you're like, oh man, it's moving so fast. And that's kind of my theory as to what a lot of that is like, you know, people not understanding what they're looking at exactly. But
yeah,
then there are
that's
some that are
always been
kind
my
of hard
take.
to explain, and you're like, I don't know.
yeah.
I
Maybe
The
it's like
perspective
a new
stuff is a-
Chinese drone or something that
Yeah,
is
exactly.
like, I don't know.
Well-
The perspective stuff for a lot of that always comes into play where have you ever seen the videos of people that are like, this plane is sitting still in the air? And it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because the car and the plane
Yeah.
are moving in a way where it's like
Yeah.
the perspective is that it's sitting still. And it's like, no, it's not. But
Or anytime like I go on a car drive with my kids and they're like, the moon is following us. And I remember as a kid
yeah.
being convinced
Yeah.
the moon was following us. I was like, it's definitely moving. Like I see it moving. Don't
Yeah.
tell me it's not moving.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, oh yeah, I know UFOs are real because I actually saw a documentary recently called Nope by Jordan Peele. So if you go watch that documentary, you'll believe UFOs are real because it's a documentary.
Yeah. And it must be true. Yeah. It's in a documentary.
It's a documentary.
That's true.
No,
that's-
That's true.
it's actually a movie. I'm just being facetious. It's a good movie though.
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, did you have any other questions for him, Josh? While we're at it.
No. We covered at least the ones
Cool.
that I had written down. Yeah.
Oh, sweet, awesome. Well,
Tonight's
thanks for coming on,
a
Hunter.
pretty big night. Actually, we possibly are launching 3 more satellites tonight. Actually,
Oh, really?
Whoa.
it's like 2 a.m. is the schedule, and it got launches get canceled a lot. Like if the wind is bad or the weather's bad or anything. So it's been pushed back. But the latest is that 3 of them are supposed to launch tonight.
Wow.
And,
how does that work? How
In
do they launch?
Florida?
So
right?
so we use SpaceX for most of our launches, and SpaceX
No way.
they have pretty much one rocket. It's a really good rocket, the Falcon 9. It's the one that can come back down and
Yep.
land, and it's pretty big too. So it can hold a lot more than just our 3 satellites. So we're on something that's called a ride share. So it's like there's probably
I
like
know
20
it.
or 30 satellites all hooked to this rocket. And you can like there's pictures of it and stuff. This one's called Transporter 7 is the name of this launch. And so we have like our three satellites mounted on there, and it's going to launch from Florida, and it'll launch the booster part. The first stage, will come back down and land like SpaceX always does, and then the second stage will keep going with our satellites, and they kind of kick them off one by one as it goes. Um, and most of our satellites are in polar orbits, which means they go around the North Pole and then they go around the South Pole, and they just go around the Earth like that. And because of that, it's like we can really only talk to them when they're at the North Pole or the South Pole. You could talk to them other times, but if you have a ground station that's like somewhere else, because the Earth is spinning, only part of the day you get like reliable
Interesting.
transmission. Um, and so it's kind of fun, but it's kind of stressful working on satellites because they go around the whole Earth every 90 minutes. So you'll have like 5 minutes while it's going over the ground station that you can talk to it, and then you have to, if you don't fix the problem in that time it's going over, you
Yeah,
have to wait for it to go either halfway around the Earth to Antarctica or all the way around the Earth back to the North Pole.
that's
So,
wild.
so
Huh.
um, and it's
That's
it's a
cool.
lot like debugging a computer on the ground. It's like
Yep.
reboot. That's the first thing you. I mean, not, well, that's not always the
Yep.
first thing, but if that's always an option is reboot stuff and
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
told me
see if
that.
it's
I
coming
was.
back
I
up.
thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Even at
yeah.
that level, that's still the
Turn
number
it
one.
turn it off and back on and
Yep,
see what happens.
90% of the time that works. That fixes it.
Yep.
But it's
That's
extra
crazy.
stressful because you've only got like 5 minutes, and I don't
Yeah.
do that as much anymore. But like I used to do that a little bit, and uh, I I'm not great at like doing stuff quickly, and so that was a hard job for
Yeah.
me.
Under pressure too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah. That's crazy. I love that that's called rideshare. Like
I
Falcon
did too.
9.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, schedule
Thought that
your
was funny.
Falcon 9 Uber for tonight, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I asked him how easy it would be to transport a human on one of these. So
They do. They
do,
they
right?
use the
Yeah.
same rocket to transport humans. They just put a different thing on top of it.
Oh.
Instead of, all these satellites, they have the Dragon capsule, which is their
Oh, yeah.
special capsule that's, and like they use the same first stage, the same booster, and they go to the International Space Station. They've done it probably. They're
Couple
probably on their
times, I
like
think,
fourth
right?
or fifth launch now. I remember
Yeah.
when the first one happened; it was a
Yeah.
big deal.
That's so cool. That stuff is so cool to me.
And
Yeah.
they're
Like,
moving so quickly. Like Boeing was supposed to have a crewed, capsule, and like it's still not ready, and it's been in the works a lot longer than SpaceX's one. So
the space, a lot of companies right now in this, like the space,
yeah, yeah,
are doing a lot of different things. I know that Sierra Space is like a big company, and they're doing a lot of stuff around like, I don't know if it's more like recreational travel, but I know
Yeah.
they're doing a bunch of stuff, and I know that there's a bunch of like other, obviously JPL always does some cool things out of there.
Yeah.
And there's one other space company that's doing some things, obviously SpaceX. So there's so much going on there. It's just like,
We had the
Yeah.
last launch we had was cool. We've done SpaceX for every launch except the last one, which was like a month or two ago, was with a different company called Rocket Lab, and
Yeah.
they're a
I
company
have a
out
friend
of
that
New
works for them.
Zealand, and
Yeah.
it's a smaller rocket. Like it's still big, but it's like as far as rockets go, it's pretty small. So that rocket could only hold our three satellites. So that was kind of cool because it was like just our three satellites on the rocket. And it launched from Wallops Island, Virginia, which was cool. So I live in Virginia. I could see it from my house when it launched, which was really fun.
nice.
And the Falcon 9s, I think this one's from, actually this one might be out of Vandenberg in California. They either launch from Vandenberg in California or Cape Canaveral in Florida. And I actually forget which one this next launch is. I think it might be Vandenberg. But yeah, Rocket Lab's pretty cool because they're like, hey, you can just get your own small rocket and the nice thing about that is you don't have to like the schedule is a lot more flexible because you're the only person on it. So if you want to like say, hey, hold up a week, let me like finish getting my satellites ready, it's your rocket, so you can kind of
That's cool.
do that.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
Well,
and
tell your
I'm really excited for. Have y'all heard of the Starship, SpaceX Starship?
No.
No.
So that is like the new rocket they're making, and it's massive. It's the biggest rocket that will ever fly.
Wow.
Like it's bigger than the one that went to the moon, the Apollo, the Saturn V rockets, and they're supposed to do the first orbital flight like this month sometime. I've been like anxiously waiting for like 2 years for this to happen. When it first came out, Elon Musk was like, "We're gonna have it going to space in 6 months," and that was like 2 years ago. And I keep like waiting, and they've had it. It has two stages, like the bottom stage, and then this weird looking thing that goes on top of it. It's the second stage. And the cool thing is they're both reusable. So the first stage goes up, comes back down and lands. The second stage like goes around the whole Earth a few times, and then it can come back down and land.
Oh,
And
wow.
That's crazy.
they're saying that like, he kind of Elon Musk definitely promises like the moon, and then he might not deliver
Yep.
everything, but he's saying that it's kind of like rockets now. They're so expensive because it's like if you got an airplane ticket and the airplane was destroyed after that one flight, like yeah, that'd be really expensive. And so they're trying to make
Yeah.
it fully reusable so that the price could go down.
Yeah.
And like, it's already gotten a lot cheaper because of what SpaceX has done, but this is like another order of magnitude cheaper.
That's
because-
crazy. Yeah, because
That
then you
really
end up
is.
just paying for maintenance and fuel at that point.
Yeah, and like
know,
he was saying,
so-
this thing, could go to space multiple times a day. Like it could go to space,
Oh,
land,
whoa.
Yeah.
gas it
go.
up, take off
Yeah.
again.
Crazy.
And they were even talking about using it not going in orbit around the Earth, but like going from point A to point B. Like if you wanted to, you could take off, go anywhere in the Earth within like 90 minutes. So like you could take off, land in Australia in like 90 minutes.
That's cool.
And like the military was really interested in this. Like, hey, could we put like some kind of special team on it, anywhere in the world that we need to deploy to within 90 minutes. Of course, you've got to have a place to land, which is
Right.
probably not the easiest thing to find. But it's still a cool idea.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is really cool. I didn't realize that they were making that. Dang. Well,
Yeah,
this has
they've
been
got
really
it, they've got
fascinating
it
and
assembled
eye-opening.
right now. Like they stacked it up like a day or two ago, and they're saying they're going to launch it pretty soon. It's probably going to blow up
Wow.
because that's normally how it goes, but
Oh,
Yeah.
it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Well, that
Hey,
is-
cool at least for a trial. Yeah.
yeah. Let us know when they start doing like just private rocket or commercial
Yeah.
rocket trips, and we'll be there. So
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know if I want to go on
Yeah.
the first one though. You might want to
Yeah.
wait a little bit.
true.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll let them do like at least 3 crashes with a few other people, and then we'll hop on.
Yeah.
Actually, I have to do a few successful ones actually first as
That's
well.
right. Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah. I don't know if I want to go after just they've had 3 crashes and like,
Nah,
okay, I'm
yeah,
next.
nah.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, Hunter, thanks for coming on, man. This has been very fascinating, and I know.
Yeah, this was awesome. I loved coming on. It was nice chatting with you guys, and
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah, this has been great. I've wanted to ask a lot of these questions already for our audience to also hear the answers to. So this has been cool.
yeah.
Um,
So I'm excited for the Starship launch, and then also Oppenheimer. That's going to be too soon. So just
That's right.
it's all interconnected. Like the black holes,
Yep.
Yep.
space.
That's right.
just-
Yeah.
all-
Exciting couple months coming up
yeah.
with all
yeah,
this. So.
That's right. Yep. It's all connected in the
Awesome.
cosmos. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have a good
All right,
night.
dude. Well, did you
Yeah.
have anything for our listeners? You want to let them know?
Yeah. Plug anything that you want them to check out.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you want to check out, I would say y'all should look into the SpaceX Starship. That's
Oh yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
mind blowing. Just there's a lot of videos of it, so just if y'all haven't looked into that, it's pretty exciting. I feel like it's a
Definitely.
cool time for space because
Yeah.
it was like we had the the 60s and stuff, going to the moon was exciting. And then, like, during my childhood, I feel like it was kind of a long period of not a lot happening. And it feels like
Yeah.
we're kind of getting back into it. So
Totally.
Right.
it's
Because
fun.
of
And
Elon.
it's cool. Stuff
Yeah.
getting cheaper. It's like it used to be only governments could afford to launch satellites. And now it's like you've got
Right.
companies like mine. And, if it gets cheaper, I mean, you could have just individuals probably in a few years like, hey, I want to, I'm really into space. I want to launch this satellite. And you could probably afford it. I mean, it's probably gonna be expensive.
It's
but
pretty
like,
crazy.
Yeah, you could make your Cameron and Josh sat 1, sat 2.
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe
We'll broadcast the TCP
Broadcast
to anyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
The pod over the whole earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
the new bougie way of like storing stuff instead of like storage places, you would
Yeah.
just store it at a satellite in space.
That's right.
Yeah.
Your most expensive
yeah.
belongings just are in
I
space.
saw recently a company was going to it was like a bourbon distillery. They were gonna launch like a barrel of bourbon into space and then return it. I don't understand. That seems so expensive and so
Yeah.
dumb to me, but I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe
Would it
there's
taste
people
better?
that- yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine that it would, but maybe it would. Maybe it
Oh,
would.
that's cool. Huh. All right, dude. Well, yeah. Appreciate you always watching the show, man.
Yeah,
and
for real.
Yeah, thanks
yeah.
for having me on. It's been an honor.
For sure.
Well, I'll definitely go to you for our future questions that we have for
Yeah.
Interstellar and all of this good stuff. So,
Cool.
yeah, you know a whole lot more than the other scientist guy we had on a few weeks back. So he was.
I don't know about that.
What does he do again? He's like a what is he?
He's a biomedical engineer.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So on the other
Yeah.
scientific side of things, not the physics
Yeah.
or, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Cool.
physics
All
because
right.
it's simple. Biology's too complicated. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
biology is physics at a whole nother scale.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, take care. Tell your family I said hello. Tell your wife. Tell the kids that the
I
TCP
will.
says hello and good
Yeah.
night.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
All right,
right.
man. Talk
See
to you
ya.
later. See ya. Let's see. Oh, he got it. Sweet.
Yeah. That's always the question mark. Do they know how to leave?
Right. Good shiz.
Good shiz. That was fascinating topics there.
Yeah, I'm gonna mark the clip here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it was.
Ha, ha. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the relationship segment where we talk personal and dating relationships here on the pod.
That's right. So if you have a relationship and you want to have it be known to the public, let us know. Actually, if you
Yeah.
are, maybe if we have any dating coaches out there,
Would you like to air out your
Oh.
relationship laundry?
dude, that's what we got to start doing. Yeah, whoa. We got to start having our listeners send us in like their situation, like relationship situations, so we can read them and like go over it on the pod. That's what a lot of podcasts do, actually. A few.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'd be pretty fun.
Did you ever listen to it's like a really old they used to okay, so let me gather my thoughts here. There used to be a show, a morning show on the radio, obviously, called so it's probably different. They broadcast from DC, but it was Hot 99.5.
Oh, is this like the one where they? I know what you're gonna say. I think. Go ahead.
the Roses thing? Did you ever see that? So this I don't know who did this. This is a nationwide thing. This wasn't location specific. But basically there was a couple like radio anchors and they would have people call in and say, "Hey, I think my boyfriend's cheating on me. Can you call him and do like the rose thing to him?" So they'd call the dude, they'd leave the other person on the line, they'd call in and they'd go, "Yo, we're calling for Brandon." And he'd be like speaking and they'd be like, "Dude, we are like, 1-800-Flowers. We're like a local, some local flower shop. We're kicking off like our launch this weekend. And to do that, we're picking people at random to give like a free bouquet of roses out just so we can get like our brand out there. So like we picked your name like kind of out of a random phone drawing. Is there anybody you'd like to send a dozen roses to?" And they'd be like, yeah, Rachel. And it's like, that wasn't their significant other's name is like Katie or something. They'd be like, oh yeah, like I'll send it to Rachel, and they're on the phone, like their significant other's on the line, like in like a 3-way call with the radio host, and then they'll chime in and be like, who the is Rachel? And then they start like arguing, and they're like, all right, sweet. Like, so.
I mean, I feel like that would be scripted for the majority of it.
No, it wasn't. It was
really?
like straight up actual
staged?
listeners would call in, and
So they just had to find like kind of scummy dudes.
they would
guess.
have people call in, and they would be like,
Oh, okay.
tell us your situation, and from there they'd be like, there's a pretty good chance they're cheating on you. Like, let's verify it with this. And so,
Wow.
yeah. But yeah, so that was a big thing. I don't know the name of it, but it was huge, and they used to broadcast it, and it was like the most entertaining thing ever. But that's when I first saw like people calling in with relationship whatever, and
Dude,
it was
that's
just a
great.
really toxic version of it. But
That's a great idea. I mean, radio shows and relationship like stuff like this is very popular. It like has been for a long time. Like
relationships
I know,
in general is always
always-
like an attractive thing for people to like listen in on.
Well,
You know,
relationships is like the majority of every conversation ever, and it's like the majority of everything. Songs, like music, movies, everything. It's all about relationships.
reality TV,
Yep.
obviously.
Like all the new,
So-
like you got MILF Manor now. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Frick. Yeah. You should watch. You watched Cody react to it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I've been catching up. I've been out of the Cody loop for a bit.
Okay.
I watched his
Put a new one out
his
today.
button, some of his new button
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say something to that. Yeah, relationships. So I'm kind of stoked as of recently because, I've just been needing like some inspiration for writing music, and I think I got that. So
There you go.
So speaking, I just looked at our notes. I totally forgot. I have to bring this up because I didn't even cover this yet about recently. But so this might be one of our last topics here. But being a dude at a meet and greet for dudes your age feels weird. That's what I wrote. So for everybody, I went to a concert on Monday in DC to see the band Fly By Midnight. They're on their come up right now. I've been saying, and they're killing it. And
We talked about this on like one of the first episodes.
that's right. And I got the VIP treatment meet and greet, and it was cool. But it was my first meet and greet in my life, and I could be wrong on this, but I think I'm right. I would say the majority of people attending meet and greets are probably girls, right?
Depends on the situation, but your hunch
let's
is
say
right.
for a band that's like late 20s, early 30s dudes, like two guys, it's probably gonna be majority girls, which was my experience. So I'm just saying that is what I experienced, and I was one of the only guys there. I expected that, fully expected. I showed up at the show by myself, by the way. So everybody who wonders my dedication level, I went by myself, and I do that often. Okay, and I have no problem with it. It's the best. So I went there, go up to meet the guys. And, we say what up. First thing they say to me is, wow, you got great hair, man. I was like, oh, yeah, thanks, man, thanks. And then they complimented my boots I was wearing, asked where they were from. And I'm like, do you guys like, you guys know I'm a dude, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys just always ask like girls like about their fit? Like,
Yeah,
oh, I love your shoes. Oh, I love your hair. It's like, yeah. So anyway, that wasn't actually weird. I thought it was cool with them. But then I got the picture with them. So they're like, oh, get in the middle, and I was like, oh, sick. And I put my arms around them and whatever, and looked back at the picture, and I was like, yeah, there's something really off about this. I was like, that's like not how I wanted to look for that picture. I didn't know. It was like there was something to it where like I was posing just like a normal person, but I look back at it and it looks like the temperament or the feeling of it, the vibe that I see is like, oh, this guy came and he's a big fan. He's like a fangirl basically, and he was super excited to meet his the band that he loves, which is true. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. How do I explain what the picture was saying to me? It just looked like. It felt weird is all I'm saying, because I felt like I'm a fan, yeah, but I'm also like, these are guys my age. That's what it is. That was the weird part, because it's like they're pretty much my
same age. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I'm here for VIP meet and greet with them, because I just want to meet them. I think they're cool. I love their music.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. I have no other motive. I'm not trying to date them. You know? So it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's just there's something about being a dude going to a meet and greet by yourself to meet other dudes your age. There's something about that.
That's just weird. Yeah.
It's very odd. And I'll put a picture up on the screen for everybody to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
But you'll see I think you can see what I mean when you'll see the picture.
Yeah. Dude,
just like,
have you seen the Joe Rogan clip from Chris DiStefano? He's a comedian. I don't know if you know who that is, but
I know who that is. I don't know if I've seen the clip.
There's a viral clip going on where he's on the Joe Rogan show and he's talking. And he goes, "I don't care what anybody says. I'm a straight guy, but I love the 1975, and their music makes me happy." And also he continues, and he goes, "Yeah, look at this lead singer, super hot dude." He goes, "Let's put up a picture." He puts up a picture on him. He goes,
Matt
"Yeah,
Healy?
see, this is the lead singer, Matt Healy. He's got great style, and he brings boys on stage and he kisses them, but he's not gay." And Joe Rogan goes, "Oh, that's nice. Good for him." And so it's like this really popular clip. We could pull it up if we want to, but
That's hilarious.
actually, I will pull it up.
Go ahead. Send it to me. I don't know if it'll work otherwise.
But that's like, that reminded me of it, where it's like, yeah, he kisses boys on stage, but he's not gay. And
Oh yeah,
it's
a straight dude, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah,
I went
Matt-
to meet up to see guys at VIP, but I'm not gay. All right, so
Yeah. Not gay. I Kiss the lead singer of my favorite band, not gay.
yeah.
Matt Healy though gets people think he's gay all the time and he sings about it too, obviously.
The 1975, if they're my favorite band, like, okay, here's what happened. This band, a lot of girls like them and gay guys.
Okay.
But I love them. I love this band. It's the only time music has helped. I was going through a bad breakup, and the 1975 helped me through this breakup. And ever since then, I've just listened to them. They've spoke to me. I love the 1975 like you cannot believe.
Is there a song you recommend that we should try?
Chocolate. I love Chocolate. I love their song. I love Paris. I love Tonight I Wish I Was Your Boy.
Let's go with Chocolate.
Let's go with
an ongoing theme.
Chocolate is the big one. Oh, because it's on Spotify. So there, you could just play music here. It's
Allegedly.
no big
see
deal.
What happens.
What do you think of this? You've heard this before.
I have.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard this before.
Let it hit. Jamie, you've heard the 1975, right? Jamie knows. What do you think? The song's about weed. Chocolate is weed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool haircut. That's Matty Healy, the lead singer.
Handsome looking fella.
Good looking kid. He kisses boys on stage, but he's not gay.
Good for him.
Seriously. Not for everybody, but I love it.
I like it.
On my cherry pound.
Butchers the lyrics.
So
This song specifically
you had
took me from a dark place.
you,
like
had
a,
it- you were in a dark place.
a genuinely, Joe, like I mean genuinely, like very, 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 one of the toughest places I've been in my life. That song specifically, I have no idea, no rhyme or reason why. I just heard it, and I said, this genuinely makes me feel better, and I got hooked.
Really?
I got hooked on the band, and I love this band. They're the only band that I've ever paid money to see. I saw them at MSG. I was so excited. Like I went with my girlfriend, Jasmine, and she was like, "You're like the only guy here." I was like, I love this band. This is how much I love this band. I found out that the lead singer saw, the only comedy bit I've had that went viral is my Chris DiStefano 9/11 story. He saw it. He said, "Not for me. Just not, his comedy's not for me. Don't give it at all. Don't give it at all." Even though I know the lead singer of the band doesn't think I'm funny at all, I'm like, I still with this band.
Good for you.
And my friends make fun of me all the time. I'm like, you know what? I don't give. That band, the 1975, makes me happier than any other piece of music I've ever listened to in my life. And I'm not afraid to say it. And you know what? Maybe I am gay. Maybe I am.
Let that sit there for a little bit.
What did he say at the end? What did
I'm
Joe
just
say?
gonna let that sit there for a little bit.
Dude, that is a fire clip. Oh my
Isn't
gosh.
that good?
I would never seen that. That guy,
Yeah,
he
so
nails it. He's right.
The front half of that has been clipped, and it's been all over TikTok and stuff. But Matt DiStefano is also a hilarious dude. I've
can
listened.
see
He's
that.
been on podcasts before. He went on Impulsive actually. That's where the first time I heard him. And
dude.
so, but dude, yeah, it's such a good clip.
He's right
Like,
though. Like it is true. Like those songs are like incredible. Like they really like Chocolate. That
Yeah.
is like one of the best songs to get you out of a slump or whatever. Like it gets you feeling good. It's one of those high serotonin level songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, also like that is funny. It's like what was he saying? Like I loved how he was like fangirling. Yeah, that's the lead singer right there.
Yeah.
And he's not gay. He's not gay.
Yeah. he kisses boys on stage, but he's not gay. Good for him. That's how I always feel. Like we obviously
Yep.
talk about this. Like
Sad boy music.
we go to these shows that we like, and it caters more to, for some of the artists, it caters more to like the female audience and their boyfriends. And I remember I showed up to like Chelsea Cutler. It's another like I unashamedly listen to Chelsea Cutler because I have forever. And I show up to her show and it's like 90% girls and me, and I'm like, well, whatever. Like it is what it is.
Exactly.
You know? It's like a bunch of girls and their boyfriends. I'm like, what's up, dude? Not gay, but what's good? You know, it's like,
it's like Andy Samberg in the movie Pop Star. He has this one song, something not gay. It's called Equal Rights.
Oh yeah.
And but throughout the whole song, he's always saying not gay, not gay, not gay. I'm not gay. Whatever. But I want equal rights, but I'm not gay.
Yeah.
But also the 1975. I was going to say to that. Oh yeah, like the whole thing about like sad boy music and whatever. Like, who gives a frick? It's music, okay? If you enjoy music, I say listen to it and don't get caught up with what other people think about your choice of music. If it's good music to you, listen to it. That's what I say. If you want to go to a concert, go to a concert without your friends. And I'm not. I know there's like it's contextual, but if you can go to see music, go see it. Don't worry about other people.
Yeah.
Don't worry about other people think. Just go. It's music.
Also, going to a concert solo is not as bad as people imagine it is. It's like if you can't find someone to go with you, but your favorite band or one of your favorite artists is in town, go see them.
As long as it's a safe area by yourself, go. But
Yeah.
that's the only
Yeah,
pushback I've gotten.
Yeah, it's valid, but it's like the same thing. It's like I couldn't, like, some of the artists I listen to are a little more specific, like San Holo and some of these more like specific EDM artists. Sometimes I don't have people that have the same like enthusiasm. So San Holo came into town, Casbo opened for him, and I'm like, two of my favorite EDM artists, couldn't find someone to go. It's like, whatever. Showed up solo, and you end up in the same room with a bunch of people who also are big fans of the same band. And it's
exactly.
like,
And you don't have to worry
this
about
is
your
going to
friends
be
who
really
just semi
easy
like them.
to, this is going to be really easy to make connections with people here. And it's like, it is.
Oh yeah,
you know,
it is. There's also something really, something about the experience of going to a concert I kind of observed recently, which is, I mean, this is just an observation. This is just a deep thought, probably, that I don't need to tell, but I will. So, like, when you go to a concert, like, what's happening is you have all these individual people who all each listen intently to that band on their own time. It's really just on their own. I mean, maybe sometimes they put it on the speaker when they have a party, sure, but the majority of the time people listen to music. It's in their car. It's just with their AirPods in at work, whatever they're doing. And so, like, usually the music experience is a one-on-one or just a individual experience. And so it is interesting when you show up to a concert, because, like, sometimes what I experience is I get there and I'm like, I haven't really found anybody else yet who's like loves the band like I do. So it's just so cool to like see all these other people getting so into it.
Totally.
And everybody there is just really listening to this music by themselves, and there's something really special about seeing the entire room just unify over one song and just go crazy over it. I know that's how concerts work, and that's been going on forever. I know. This is just a cool observation I wanted to share.
Yeah.
I just thought it's really cool to just see that and experience that, especially the 1975 when they started playing Happiness. When I was at their show in 2022, it was like the whole room erupted, and like everybody's just like getting down. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole appeal, right? It's like you show up with people who all have the same, that are all experiencing some level of connectedness with what you're doing. You know, you could Jesus juke this and be like, that's what corporate worship is, right? It's the same concept. It's like a bunch of people in the same room who all have a very similar common ground. That's what concerts are. Yeah. You know? So,
exactly.
yeah, it totally is.
So I saw the Jude and the Lion on last Friday.
Yep.
and that was an incredible show. I was very taken aback by that. Like, I know they're an awesome band. I just haven't been. I've never been super into them. I like a lot of their music, but haven't listened to it all. Went to that show. That was an incredible show. One of the best ones I've ever seen. I've never seen a lead singer connect so well with the crowd in my life. He literally, from the stage, I mean, he would share, like, throughout the songs, like, between songs, he would do a lot of, like, not a whole lot of talking, but more than probably most people do. And he was great at connecting with his audience. He talked about, like, the meaning of one song, and at a certain point, he was, like, crying, explaining it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not just a job for this guy. Like, this guy's, like, truly giving this everything he has. Like, it's the first time he's done it, which is so cool. He came in the crowd once, and then twice he came in the crowd during a song, hung out, high-fiving people, was sick. Then after the show ended, he comes back in the crowd and just starts hanging out, high-fiving people more. It was like, no one does this. And so shout out to Jude and the Lion. I've never seen a more intimate or more authentic show probably in my life. That's incredible. Crazy. And also they just rocked that place. It was wild. So
yeah, that's the crowd connection thing is interesting when you mention that. Like, what I relate that to, which is a not a direct comparison, is like comedy shows where the comedian does like crowd work.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like, some are really, really good. Andrew Schultz is the person who comes to mind.
Yep. Yeah, he's the best.
Incredibly good with his crowd work, but you don't see that often with musical artists.
Right.
Like, you see some that can connect with their audience to some degree, but from what you describe, and like I saw the brief clip of it, like, you don't see that happen really, like often at all, where they're like either hanging around a lot afterwards, or they like come into the crowd and like hang around. They don't just like kind of pop in, walk through, pop out, you know. So I don't know, there wasn't really a whole lot there, but I just think that's interesting.
Yeah
Well, thank you guys for listening to episode 13, lucky number 13. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you found the nerd science talk in the beginning with Hunter informative and insightful, and if not, too bad. But thanks for tuning in as always. Again, always plug, head on over to our Instagram. We'll post reels and updates from the week. And if you have any suggestions for stuff you'd want us to talk about, or if you want to come on the show, let us know. We just brought our first fan on. So
that's right.
I don't like the term fan.
We
brought our first listener. We brought our first listener on the show. Fan feels like, we brought one of our fans on.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
when they come on the
weird.
show, I wouldn't call them a fan at that point. It's kind of condescending.
One of our listeners who knows a lot more about the topic than we do came on, and it was a great conversation. So if you want to come on, let us know. But shoot us a follow on Instagram. Let us know. Interact with us during the week over there.
All right. Well, we'll see you all next week on the TCP.
Peace.